The Brewhouse was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery. But the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewhouse.com. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. This is the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brewhouse. Nice to have Nate Rowan of the Rochester Red Wings back with us.
Thanks for having me
For
again.
a long-awaited debate about that tie-breaking rule, which we'll get to. Mike Catalana co-hosting here along with Pat Duffy. Who you got?
Reggie Miller, Indiana Pacers. I am confident that 1, every basketball jersey that has pinstripes is a great basketball jersey. 2, Reggie Miller, one of those guys that I despise as a child that I now love as an adult. And every once in a while, you have those guys, right?
Yep.
You grow up and you now realize their greatness. You didn't get to live it while you were there.
Yeah, it's a great commentator, too. He's real good on that.
He's good at it, and he was a phenomenal scorer, as the Knicks very well know, with his three-point barrage to beat them in a playoff game.
Yes, good memories. Hey, let's talk baseball. The minor leagues this year instituted what was a controversial way of breaking or when playing extra innings, but it's kind of revolutionary. How's it going?
So it's going exactly how they intended it to go. So there's 2 reasons that they instituted it. One was to try to create some more excitement for extra innings because it can drag on, especially in the minor leagues, because people leave after 9 innings. And 2 is to limit the amount of pitchers that teams are using when the game goes to extra innings, because the minor leagues, there are guys every day that are just not available, so they don't have as much pitching as, say, a major league team may have. Well, they want to try to get the games over quicker, and so the numbers so far, at least through July 31st, 93% of games are ending in 2 extra innings or fewer, which means, that's exactly what the rule is intended to do, is to speed up the games. The interesting thing is the broadcaster, Josh Wetzel, who does a great job for the Red Wings, said that it adds excitement to the broadcast instantly, whereas extra innings before maybe didn't. So there's a lot of things that I guess I was skeptical about when it first started, but the idea behind it is proving to be exactly the way that they hoped that the rule would work out.
And I think nationally people are coming around to, at least not hating this idea as much as they did when it was first proposed.
I guess. I just think the game itself is based on how difficult it is to get on base, right? On-base percentage is a huge thing, and you work your way around it. But to the point, I know there's something fantastic in hockey that everybody loves called the shootout. And it's a very similar way.
No.
It's a change of the way the game is normally played in order to end it quicker. Look at him. It's going to explode.
It's completely different. This is completely different. This is still baseball. Baseball is still being played in this. You just have an extra runner on second. It's still the game of baseball. Shootout is just me in the driveway. Shootout is awful. I have been on the side of adding the runner to second since it happened because, like Nate said, it's entertainment value, right? I'm going to a minor league baseball game, and there are folks that are big baseball fans. I'm sure it's not a huge percentage of your audience. It's folks out to have a good time, and this is something that is making the game exciting immediately.
I think the better analogy is taking the players off the ice and playing the first 5 minutes of overtime with fewer players.
But that's also stupid. It's less stupid than the shootout, but all right, listen, I get that you old men who stand on your lawns and yell at people don't want any change ever, right? Remember when interleague play was a big controversial thing and we don't even notice it? Remember when the designated hitter was going to, and Jesus was going to come back and yell at the commissioner of baseball for the DH? That never happened. You'll just get used to it. This is cool. You're wrong. I'm standing on your lawn.
Well, it is funny, though, that you don't like it because you are more of a hockey purist than you would be a baseball purist in that way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, there are changes to the game.
So you are standing there yelling, "Get off my ice," instead of "Get off my lawn."
Well, you would fall.
But it doesn't. It just is different. I don't know. Do you think it'll ever be part of the major leagues?
Like hockey, I think you can use it in the regular season.
Pitchers are throwing fewer innings is the main reason that this is happening. Because guys used to come in out of the bullpen, throw 4 or 5 innings, have a day off, and then be able to throw the next day. They throw 4 or 5 innings, and they're down for 3 or 4 days now. Guys just aren't throwing as many pitches. So I think that the way that this is going, that Major League Baseball will probably adopt it, just because it's doing They don't test this stuff and see that it works and then throw it away. That's my opinion with it.
Oh, real quick, while you're an idiot. This shortens baseball games. The shootout elongates hockey games. Checkmate.
Do you like it? Do your constituents like it? You see it all the time.
I was against it at the beginning because I was a baseball purist. I love the game, the way that it's played, and the fact that you have to throw the ball over the plate to get guys out. There's no way to speed up the games. But it's working the way that they intended it to. And in the minor leagues especially, it's beneficial because I don't want to see a second baseman on the mound in the 14th inning. And that's what happened. You know, when the Red Wings played that 33-inning game, which is still the longest game in baseball history, and if these rules continue to be adopted, it'll never be touched. But they had pitchers throwing the entire game, both teams. Now you don't. At 13, 14 innings, you'd have guys throwing. The Phillies and the Dodgers played a 16-inning game this year, and the Dodgers just decided we didn't have any pitching left, so we're going to throw an outfielder, an infielder. Kike Hernandez got the loss on the mound. No one wants to see that.
You're making the game irrelevant at that point.
Correct, and that's another. They wanted to avoid that situation, but to me, it's doing what it was intended to do, and I just think that Major League Baseball wasn't testing it, and if it succeeded, to not implement it at some point.
Real quick, minor league games are shorter, but people do leave. Major league games are long enough as it is, but we know every major league game in extra innings ends on a home run anyhow.
Yeah,
right?
you say, sir.
There's just home runs everywhere.
This is the Rochester Press Box. We are presented by the Genesee Brewhouse, and we talk Buffalo Bills next. The Press Box, brought to you in part by Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 262-COMP, C-O-M-P, today. Welcome back. We're in the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brewhouse. This portion brought to you by Connors and Ferris. And we talk Bills. It always seems like camp goes by so fast, but it's over.
Yeah, it's over, and by the time this airs, we'll have seen the second preseason game. But at least through camp, we waited on the quarterbacks, right? 3-man competition, which it has been, and we got done the 3 weeks of the competition. And publicly, I don't think we're any farther along to knowing what they're going to do. Go ahead.
Or privately, but you know they have a plan.
They do have a plan.
The plan was to have absolutely no change in the quarterback situation after 3 weeks. If there is a plan, they have showed no plan because, yes, you've seen all of the quarterbacks are getting equal time with all of the teams. Josh Allen has been coming on with the second and first team the last couple of days. Tell me about this plan, Mike.
Who's he yelling at?
I'm yelling at you! You're so wrong!
Who does he ever yell at?
No, I think they have a plan in terms of seeing which veteran, seeing that veteran's going to start. And again, we haven't seen, or now at home, you've seen what happened on Friday night in Cleveland. But I think Josh Allen this camp is about Josh Allen in that sense, moving him up. And I think he has progressed the way they believed he was going to progress. So I guess that's the positive of it. And I look at this team as being a pretty good team that's going to have, I think, has a chance to have an exceptional defense if they get the pass rush they hope for, and an offense that no matter who is the quarterback is going to struggle.
I'll give you a chance for your hot take in a second.
Okay.
But Nate, what have you garnered from the Bills' start so far?
The first preseason game especially really didn't do anything to. It made the quarterback situation even more murky because both quarterbacks played okay.
Which is good.
It's a good problem to have, but you know. From a person who doesn't necessarily root for the Bills, you almost want to see one of the quarterbacks maybe not play as well, and it becomes clear because I don't like the fact that you got 3 guys that are very close to each other. I think it would be awesome if one guy just kind of took the reins and took over, and that hasn't happened yet.
I think it's so ironic that the fact that they all played well leaves us in the same position as if they'd all played poorly.
Well, but they played well in different ways. Nate Peterman looked like a legitimate NFL quarterback. Now, granted, he's not seeing exotic blitzes and twists up front on the defensive line. AJ McCarron played like a backup quarterback that was playing, but he was efficient. And Josh Allen's the most interesting one, as we thought he would be, because he is a guy that can make a mistake on first down, make a mistake on second down. You have your head in your hands, and then he gets it all back and then some on third. So do you want an efficient offense with A.J. McCarron? Do you want a guy with big play capability in Nate Peterman, or a guy that is all big play capability in Josh Allen? Which way do you want to make your team go?
Yeah, the hot take. I mean, you were suggesting at the time that the season opens, the way this quarterbacks may shake out would be?
Well, in terms of McCarron maybe being the starter, Allen being the number 2, and then maybe, at least now the way I'm thinking of it, the other quarterback, which would be Peterman, either cut or inactive to start the season.
But you were flip-flopping. You thought that it might be the kid.
It could be, and it still could be. Again, depending on how he looks. But I think Allen has shown them enough. Again, they have to have enough faith in him to say, if we make him the backup, that means he absolutely could play. It could be one injury, anything, to put him out on the field. If they don't feel that way, they're going to hide him inactive or hide him as the third guy. But I don't think that's going to be the case now.
You've said a lot of stupid things.
Okay, here we go.
You've said a lot of stupid things.
He loves Nate Peterman.
This is without question
He's your guy.
the dumbest thing. He's not my guy. I don't even like Nate
guy.
Peterman. I just saw this coming. All right. Why would you not dress Nate Peterman and dress Josh Allen? You own Josh Allen. You're paying him whatever. You don't own Nate Peterman. This coaching staff loves Nate Peterman. And you are one hit away, like you said, from Josh Allen being thrust into the starting role. If he's not ready to start, why would you put him in a position where he would be forced to?
I think you make a good point.
That's right, I do. Sorry.
You didn't know how to react to that. I think you make a good point. But if they feel confident enough that Allen can play, they just don't want him to start the season, then I think they would make him the backup.
Just quickly a name, because we've been doing this last few weeks. Starting quarterback opening day for the Buffalo Bills is?
Nate Peterman.
McCarron.
Peterman.
All right. Well, a little variance there. This is the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brewhouse. This portion brought to you by Connors and Ferris. Like it or not is next. Here's the Press Box trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Here's the Press Box trivia answer brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. This is the Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brewhouse. Like it or not, what Tiger Woods did over the past weekend.
I mean, it was awesome. It was the first time I sat down and watched like hours of golf in a very, very long time.
You watched golf on TV?
Yeah, and I'm not a big golf guy. But I mean, listen, everybody got into it. I wanted to see what would happen, but I will make this statement, and Mike is wrong about this. He disagrees with me. Tiger Woods coming close and not winning every week is better for golf viewership than Tiger Woods ever winning a major ever again. I'm going home.
That would be like the Cubs having lost that World Series.
Yeah. In theory, him getting close one time does elevate the interest, and now everybody's locked in. The difference with Tiger is once he wins, what does that start the clock to, or the conversation? Can he do it again? And now he's closing in on Nicklaus. Now all of a sudden is Tiger all the way back. So to your point, I think it's great. Like the Masters next year, if he's healthy and comes into it, it's going to be huge. Everybody anticipated. If he wins the Masters, what do you think is going to be like at Bethpage, week 2, the major number 2? Off the charts big from the moment he takes to the course. So, yes, I think it adds interest, but it would be even bigger if he wins another major.
I'd say, enjoy it while it lasts because the trend, I mean, he's getting older. And the trend is his game is going to continue to suffer that way. I mean, so it's like continuing to try to prop it up.
There were people that thought that he would never be in this position ever again,
including him. I think.
Yeah, really well, I mean, when you start dealing with back issues in any sport, especially one like golf, where it takes so much from your body. I don't think people who don't play golf realize how much a toll playing golf has on your body. It has a significant toll. It's just like referees in sports and umpires in baseball. I mean, it has an effect on your body. But I heard the story. There was a kid who passed out. They couldn't revive him, and Tiger made some putt, and the roar was so loud it revived him, and then they were able to give him medical attention. I mean, that's not. I'm not even.
Happened with Tim Tebow.
No, that's like that's what he does to the sport of golf. How many players is he competing against that are where they're at in part because of what Tiger Woods did when he was younger?
Can I be the guy that pops a balloon with a pen real quick? I'm sorry, because you said it, right? At his age, after what he's been through, he shouldn't be able to do this. In fact, he said himself, I had no club speed as of 6 months ago, and he has a fused spine. with everything we've seen with these great athletes in the last couple of years, is it out of the question that this is being done maybe in an unpure way?
Next thing you know, he's going to mention David Ortiz.
Am I wrong to think that, though? That was my first, after his quote, that was my first thought was, you're right. Your spine is fused together with, right? No, wrong?
He saves a kid on the course, and you rip Tiger Woods. Way to go.
I don't think...
He's the young guy on the lawn.
Just thinking.
Get off my ice.
This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. Unfinished Business is next.
Here is the MVP Experience Stat of the Week, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy. No appointment ever needed.
And now to Eichel. He floated one.
Look at those guys, triumphing over the afternoon.
Because he went on a Dunkin' run and got $2 snacks.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
The Dunkin' Run menu. Delicious $2 afternoon snacks.
Welcome back. We thank you for joining us. This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. Unfinished Business brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Pat.
The debate forever, should you be paying college athletes? And there's this back and forth, and the schools claim they can't afford it, and blah, 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 blah. There's about to be proof that they can because of two tragedies that have gone down recently in college football. You have the incident with Urban Meyer at Ohio State, and it's possible that he retains his job after admitting to knowing that his assistant football coach hit his wife and kept him on staff for a couple of years. Then you have the incident that happened out in Maryland with the death of a student athlete, a football player. The trainer has been fired, and it also looks as if, as of right now, the head coach at Maryland is going to keep his job. Either these coaches are going to be fired and they're going to be paid out their contracts, or there are going to be lawsuits and massive settlements, one from the death of a player, two from the fact that this guy was staying on staff and this woman was being subjected at Ohio State. You get what I'm saying. My point is this. You're going to find out what those settlements cost. You're going to find out what these colleges spent on lawyers, and you're going to also find out what they spent to try and fix themselves PR-wise. And when those numbers come out, when you see what they're spending to protect guys that did legitimate things wrong, guys that are supposed to be responsible for 18, 19-year-old kids that sit down in the living rooms of mothers and fathers, put their arms around these kids and say, I'm going to protect them, that is what should make you angry. We can't pay your child. We also can't protect your child. But hey, it doesn't make any sense to me. And situations like this is what makes me the most furious.
The Maryland one is one of the worst ever.
I don't understand it. How does that guy not lose his job immediately after all of the information that's coming out? And then who defended him? Another college head football coach blamed the anonymous sources when that guy was absolutely an anonymous source when it benefited him getting a job.
Nate.
2 months ago, who could have predicted the potential for a Houston Astros, New York Yankees wildcard game in the American League? The American League is suddenly murky because the Oakland Athletics seemingly don't lose. And if you predicted the Athletics to go on this type of run, similar to what we saw in the movie Moneyball, I would question your sanity, because there's no way that anyone could have seen the Oakland Athletics coming. The Mariners, the Athletics, and the Astros are going to battle it out for a spot for the division, and then another will be in the wild card chase. The Boston Red Sox have all but solidified the American League East, and the New York Yankees are going to be playing in the American League wild card game. If you're the Yankees, you don't want to see the Astros, and you don't want to see the Athletics. From the Yankees' perspective, I'm not sure they did enough at the trade deadline to improve, because from a starting pitcher perspective, with Luis Severino suddenly not being able to throw the ball over the plate and get outs, I don't like their chances against any of those three teams that could come out of the American League West. The Yankees are in trouble. They've played 500 ball for the last 2 months. If you're a Yankee fan, you got to be concerned.
Yeah, if Judge comes back, that'll help.
Sure.
Or hurt, depending on
He's
that.
loving all this.
Thanks for bringing it all up.
You know, sometimes people just try too hard. And I'm not talking about Pat. We always know that's true. Jalen Ramsey. Look, he's an excellent player for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think he realizes he's in Jacksonville. And he's a Florida State guy. I think he believes he's like a Dion type guy, that he's going to become a superstar. And he goes out and he talks about a lot of people, a lot of players. He has opinions on everything. And this week he talked about the draft and he talked about players. And he went after Josh Allen. It's the second time he's gone after Josh Allen. What he has against Josh Allen, I don't know. He called him trash. Look, you don't like the draft pick. You say you're going to get him. You don't like the way he throws the ball. You don't think he deserved to be picked. But calm down a bit, Jalen. Look, you're a great player, but I don't think ripping the 7th pick in the draft for the Buffalo Bills buys you any points. He's been an excellent player. He's made Pro Bowls. He's really good. But I'll make another pick for you. Trey White's better than you are, and Trey White's going to be an all-pro player this year. And Trey White talks about himself and his team, doesn't talk about other players. That's the difference.
Humility still have a place in sports.
Well, again, there's humility, and then there's false humility, which we see some guys have. But honestly, I'm not really getting it why he has this thing for Josh Allen. And to Allen's credit, he sat back and he said, I'm worried about my teammates. What's he going to say? But I'd love to see Allen get him when the Bills do play the Jags.
This is the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brewhouse Unfinished Business, presented by Dunkin' Donuts. Nate, good job. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, as always, Kim Burnson joins us next week in the Rochester Press Box. We hope you'll join us. Thank you for joining us this week.